I gotta say this real quick. You were right, and I was wrong. We ain't never seen nothing like Shedeur.
I told you. Let's go.
Because when you said that early on, I'm like, what are you talking about? They carried the games in Oklahoma, but that was just Oklahoma. That was for Baker. It was like the Oklahoma fan base. They carried the games in Norman, Browns games in Norman. I'm like, that was just as big.
Are you telling me that this is the biggest circus the Browns have ever been a part of?
The Browns were supposed to be riding momentum, but instead, they imploded. Benching Shedeur Sanders for Dillon Gabriel didn't just cause controversy, it ignited a full-scale disaster. Ratings have plummeted, fans are in open revolt, and the front office is scrambling to justify how a move billed as a power play became a franchise-wide embarrassment. This isn't merely a quarterback change, it's a self-inflicted wound that threatens the team's future. The entire NFL is watching as Cleveland's collapse plays out in real time.
Panthers for 2 touchdowns, whereas Dillon Gabriel passed for 143 yards with an interception against the Eagles in Week 2. Stephen A., I want to come to you first. When you take a look at both of these QBs, who had the most impressive start so far in the preseason?
Well, to me, it was Shedeur. I didn't see any interceptions when he was out there. You see anything like that? I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think Dillon Gabriel did a bad job. I was impressed with the brother, but I'm going to go with Shedeur. You know, the pressure was on him. The spotlight was on him.
If you're enjoying, please subscribe Shedeur Sanders to the channel. It helps more than you think. The Cleveland Browns have never shied away from controversy, chaos, or flat-out head-scratching decisions. Dysfunction isn't just an occasional problem, it's practically a franchise trademark, as dependable as Lake Erie icing over in winter. But even by Browns' notorious standards, swapping out Shedeur Sanders for Dillon Gabriel ranks among the most reckless choices in recent NFL memory. It feels less like a football move and more like an audition for the Guinness World Record in terrible decision-making. The aftermath has been brutal, fans are furious, critics are relentless, and television ratings have plunged in a nosedive so sharp it makes a roller coaster look like a casual Sunday drive.
When I watched it, I thought he is better than some people are saying coming out of camp, but he's not as good as Shedeur Sanders. To me, nothing of that performance to me said this is the guy who should be stealing first-team reps while Shedeur is fourth. If anything, I got the impression it should have been opposite. Shedeur should be getting first-team reps and Gabriel should be the fourth string. And I'm not saying that he can't play at all, but I thought he didn't look as comfortable in the pocket. I thought his
Browns owner Jimmy Haslam is reportedly in disbelief. Disbelief that fans, who had finally embraced the excitement around Shedeur Sanders, would actually be outraged when their new beacon of hope was benched for a quarterback who feels more like a short-term patch than a long-term answer. Disbelief that after years of heartbreak, losing records, busted draft picks, and countless embarrassments, Cleveland's loyal fanbase wouldn't eagerly sign up for yet another round of frustration. Disbelief that you can't simply swap quarterbacks like interchangeable parts without igniting backlash, especially when the player pushed aside wasn't just a rookie, but the story, the buzz, and the rare spark of optimism this franchise has been desperate to capture for decades.
Dillon Gabriel, he came out there, had a couple of mishaps, what have you, but ultimately he played well, and I give him credit where credit is due. But watching Shedeur move the offense or whatever, I thought that his performance was slightly better than Dillon Gabriel. That's just me, guys.
Yeah, I thought Gabriel's tape was better. Shedeur's was really good last.
The outrage is real because Shedeur Sanders wasn't just another rookie quarterback. He arrived with pedigree, swagger, and a built-in following that extended from the college football world to NFL fans eager for a fresh star to believe in. He injected life into a Browns franchise that has spent decades stumbling in search of relevance, bringing energy, attention, and a sense of possibility. His jersey sales skyrocketed, his highlights went viral, and suddenly Cleveland wasn't a late-night punchline, it was must-watch TV. And just as momentum was building, the Browns yanked the rug out from under it all, tossing Dillon Gabriel into the spotlight instead, leaving fans blindsided.
Was that sustainable? I also didn't like, once you got off the script is when he kind of got worse, you know, and we saw Shedeur come out, and maybe you could say Shedeur struggled early, or at least like missed a couple throws, but he was up against ones. As Shedeur settled in and he was going 2s on 2s, 3s on 3s, you saw his play ascend. He got better as the game went on, and he settled in and got comfortable, and I thought Dillon kind of got worse as the game went on.
No one's arguing that Dillon Gabriel is a bad quarterback. He had a strong college career, he's clearly talented, and in the right setting he could absolutely develop into a solid starter. But This situation was never about Gabriel's ability, it was about perception. You don't hype Shedeur Sanders as the new face of the franchise, ignite fan interest, drive jersey sales, and turn Cleveland into must-see football, only to bench him like a disposable practice squad body. The Browns didn't just make a roster move, they committed a cultural misstep. They completely misjudged what Shedeur represented to the fanbase and overestimated how many people would buy into yet another hollow, trust the process message from a franchise with the credibility of a bargain lot salesman. And now, the backlash is louder than ever.
Right? He was taking underneath things. They were playing a lot of man-to-man and they switched to zone. When they were playing man, he took shots down the field on some of these corner routes that we'll see coming up. If not, though, he was able to step up in the pocket. Look at that perfectly thrown ball. All right, perfect. You get the left arm back, the right arm is on the chest, and you got a little bit.
And the numbers told the story instantly. The second Shedeur was benched, TV ratings nosedived like a stone in Lake Erie. Broadcast partners watched the buzz vanish overnight, while social media went from hyping Shedeur highlights to roasting the Browns relentlessly. The excitement wasn't just gone, it was torched beyond recognition. Cleveland had a rare golden chance to ride the Shedeur wave, to flip the script from perennial laughingstock to legitimate contender, and they fumbled it in spectacular fashion. With one reckless move, the Browns transformed from must-watch to hard pass. At this point, the owner's reported shock isn't just misplaced, it's downright laughable.
Shedeur Sanders has these qualities, and he's beloved in the community. That's why a lot of this is, happening right now. A lot of people don't understand he's beloved in the community, and as long as he's beloved in the community, he's gonna have the biggest fan base. It's your boy Iceman. Tell me what you think.
What exactly did he think would happen? That fans would just shrug off the benching and carry on like nothing changed? Cleveland isn't some laid-back football market, it's a city that breathes this sport, even when the team specializes in crushing hope. Benching Shedeur Sanders wasn't just another lineup adjustment, it was a gut punch, an emotional betrayal. It was the Browns sending a message, we don't care what excites you, we'll run things our way. And the fans, after decades of heartbreak and frustration, finally snapped back with their own message, fine, then we won't care either. The result? A ratings collapse so steep it became the latest chapter in the Browns' long history of self-inflicted wounds.
I thought it was a completion at first. Let's go. Let's go. What happened, man? Crossing. You kind of, well, oh my goodness. That's insane. Business decision by Gabriel, because that, you might have got third down. They got him, let's go!
The ripple effect doesn't stop at the fans. Corporate sponsors, media outlets, even casual NFL watchers had latched onto Shedeur's story. His presence in Cleveland gave the league a fresh storyline, something beyond the tired narratives of dynasties and repeat contenders. His play injected drama and excitement into games that might otherwise have been forgettable. Without him, Cleveland loses relevance, and so does the NFL broadcast calendar that had penciled in Browns games as primetime worthy. Instead, networks are quietly praying for flex scheduling, trying to avoid airing a Gabriel-led Browns offense that doesn't move the needle. What's especially brutal is how avoidable this all was. They could have at least pretended to respect what Shedeur meant to the team and the fanbase. But the Browns, true to form, went full Browns. They didn't just shoot themselves in the foot, they emptied the clip, reloaded, and went for the kneecaps.
But we are now beginning to see the thread of competition unravel, and people's true colors are beginning to show. Now, mind you, this entire time, Shedeur has been given the least amount of reps, verbally in communication, far less supportive conversation than the other quarterbacks.
Jimmy Haslam, the man at the top, now wears the fallout like a scarlet letter. His history of meddling and questionable moves already had fans side-eyeing him, but this takes it to another level. The shock he feels isn't just about ratings, it's about realizing that this fanbase has finally hit the wall. Browns fans will tolerate losing seasons, they'll tolerate draft busts, they'll even tolerate head coaches with the shelf life of yogurt. But take away the one thing that made them feel like they mattered? That's where the line gets drawn. The locker room can't be blind to it either. Players rallied behind Shedeur, drawn to his charisma and playmaking ability. Benching him for Gabriel doesn't just divide the fanbase, it risks dividing the team. All because ownership couldn't resist meddling in the narrative. And let's not forget the broader implications for Shedeur Sanders himself. For a young quarterback with star power, confidence is everything. To get dropped this early, in this fashion, by a team desperate for a scapegoat, could derail development. It's not just a bad decision for the Browns, it's a reckless gamble with the future of a player who could have redefined the franchise.
So the NFL is reporting that viewership is down since that Panthers-Browns game that did over 4 million views, 4 million households. It further pushes the conversation that Shedeur Sanders is box office. I never spoke about anybody as much as I speak about this young man because he is.
The optics of this aren't just bad, they're unforgivable. Shedeur deserved patience, and instead he got panic. The Browns are now in damage control mode, but it's too little, too late. No carefully worded press conference, no token gestures of support, no half-hearted marketing campaign can undo what's already happened. The fans saw the betrayal, the ratings reflected it, and the narrative is set. The Browns had lightning in a bottle, and they smashed it against the floor. Dillon Gabriel may play fine, he may even exceed expectations, but it won't matter. The damage is done. By the time the season ends, the Browns won't just be measuring wins and losses. They'll be measuring how much faith, goodwill, and relevance they've burned through in record time. Throw him under the bus for Dillon Gabriel, and then act confused when the entire football world responds with a collective laugh. Fans aren't stupid. They know what they're watching, and they know when a front office is gaslighting them. The Browns thought they could spin this into some brave coaching gamble. Instead, it turned into the biggest cell phone of the season, a masterclass in how to drive your own fanbase into open revolt.
I thought he played like you said. I thought he played a good game with the exception of the turnover, that bad interception.
In the beginning.
But you know the thing I noticed?
Talk to me.
The first thing I said, damn, he tiny.
Oh yeah, he's small. He's small.
I'm like, oh my goodness.
Like maybe Baker height?
No, hell nah. He wish you, man, huh? They listed him at 5'11",
so
5'10" and a quarter.
Be like Bryce Young then too.
The Cleveland front office probably imagined a scenario where Gabriel steps in, lights up the field, and the fanbase praises them for their genius foresight. But the NFL isn't some feel-good Disney movie where the underdog backup comes in and saves the day. It's a ruthless league where every mistake is magnified 1,000 times. And this decision didn't just magnify their mistake, it projected it on a billboard the size of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Shedeur was more than just a quarterback. He was a movement, a brand, a storyline the NFL desperately needs to capture younger fans. Social media clips of his plays were going viral before the Browns even knew what to do with him. This isn't just a quarterback controversy. This is a marketing catastrophe. Because in 2025, the NFL isn't just competing with other sports, it's competing with TikTok, YouTube, and every other form of instant entertainment. You need stars who can draw eyeballs. Shedeur was one of those stars, and the Browns decided to treat him like a spare part. It's the kind of move that makes sponsors start asking if their money is being wasted.
Help me understand, like, when did you say, I'm not an entertainer, I'm a competitor? And then you clarified and said it was the media who are entertainers. How? How? Like, how? How? Okay, because I'm fucking confused. I'm confused. Now, if you would say they are antagonists or they, you know, they blow things out of proportion or something like that, okay, cool.
And boy, are the sponsors paying attention. You think advertisers shell out millions for commercials just to have their product associated with empty seats and booing fans? Not a chance. The drop in viewership isn't just a stat, it's a warning shot. A signal that if the Browns don't course correct, they're about to start losing serious money. And once the money dries up, you can bet the owner won't be looking at Gabriel, he'll be looking at the people who made this disastrous decision. The irony is almost too perfect. For years, the Browns have been a running joke in the NFL, the team everyone points to when they want to feel better about their own franchise. And just when they seemed like they were finally crawling out of that pit, they decided to throw themselves right back in. Cleveland has one of the most loyal fan bases in sports. These people have endured decades of heartbreak, bad coaching hires, and quarterback carousels that could fill an entire Netflix documentary. And now, after everything, they're being told to trust the process again. But here's the problem, there is no process. This isn't strategy. This is desperation dressed up as decision-making.
It's nothing personal, Dillon Gabriel, but I need you to fail so that Shedeur can rise. They got him. Sack. Let's go. Come on, Eagles defense. Do it. Second quarter. Play action. Gabriel rolling out left. Hitches up. Hit! All the way. Gone. What happened with that?
The front office panicked, benched their star, and now they're scrambling to justify it as some kind of genius move. The fallout is bigger than just one season. Shedeur Sanders has options. He doesn't need the Browns. In an era where players have more power than ever, you think he's going to sit quietly while being treated like a disposable rookie? Not a chance. If this situation doesn't change fast, don't be surprised if Shedeur forces his way out. And when that happens, the Browns will go from a team with potential to a team that let the future slip right through their fingers. And the comparisons are already rolling in. History is repeating itself, and the fans know it. This isn't just another bad call, it's a painful reminder that the Browns never seem to learn. They could have had a star, a leader, a quarterback who could finally shift the narrative. Instead, they've got a front-page disaster.
Shedeur Sanders just made history with the #1 selling jersey for a 5th-round draft pick. Patriots check in. The Secret Service Sam, president of TikTok and the #1 comedy journalist here on the interwebs. Thanks to you guys. Now, Shedeur, we're doing it for Shedeur Sanders, guys, because what happened to him was not cool, so we are going to support Shedeur in his career.
Meanwhile, every other team in the league is watching this unfold like it's a reality show. Rival GMs must be laughing their heads off, knowing Cleveland just torched its own momentum. Imagine being in a division with the Ravens and Bengals, where quarterbacks define the rivalry, and your answer to Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow is Dillon Gabriel. That's not a strategy, that's surrender. It's waving the white flag before the season even kicks into gear. What makes it sting even more is the timing. The NFL thrives on momentum, on hype, on keeping fans locked in every week. And the Browns managed to kill their own hype in record time. Instead of being a must-watch team with Shedeur at the helm, they're back to being an afterthought, a team fans tune into only to see how badly they'll screw up next. Performance doesn't matter. Hype, excitement, and the will of the fans don't matter. All that matters is whatever misguided vision the executives cooked up in their boardroom. And nothing kills a locker room faster than players realizing they're being led by people who have no idea what they're doing.
But you're talking about, 2 of the first 3 drives that he had being scoring drives. But again, when you come into the game, you got to be able to mitigate the downside, mitigate the risk of the team making those consequential mistakes. And he just didn't do that, right? I mean, you had the pick 6. A couple series later, you had the fumbled quarterback-running back exchange.
The fallout from Shedeur Sanders being dropped for Dillon Gabriel is more than just a football storyline. It's a lesson in how quickly an organization can lose its grip on the very thing it claims to protect. The Browns didn't just fumble a quarterback decision, they fumbled the connection with their fans, the trust of their supporters, and the credibility of their ownership. Viewership doesn't plummet by accident, it collapses when the product loses meaning, when the fans feel their loyalty is taken for granted. The Browns didn't just bench Shedeur, they benched their own future by betting on a move that alienated an entire base that believed they were finally turning the corner. This franchise risks becoming the ultimate cautionary tale for the entire NFL. It's a textbook example of how not to handle a quarterback, how not to treat a loyal fanbase, and how not to build for the future. What happened here was more than just a bad call, it was a catastrophic misstep that could define the Browns for years, staining their reputation and eroding any hope of long-term stability or success.